It's Saturday, April 2nd, 2011. Sergeant James Kelemen of the Conroe Police Department clocks in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon to work his 12-hour shift. Little did he know that in 2 hours, dispatcher is going to get a call, a disturbance call with weapons. Being available, Sergeant Kelemen takes the call and starts heading to 460 North Loop 336 East, Flour Baking Company. Upon arrival, he is met by a man with a shotgun with a mission. What happened afterwards is a nightmare to every officer and their family.
We got a call of a disturbance with weapons. Dispatcher advised that there was a male with a shotgun beating on the door of the bakery off of the loop.
Can you explain to me what you were doing before you got the call?
A lot of people think when I pulled out a Sonic I was eating, but I was with another officer on a traffic stop. We weren't, but I'm a mile away from the call.
He's got a gun.
When I got there, he was at the door beating on it with a shotgun. As soon as he saw me, his attention was just completely drawn to me. He started to walk down the front of the business, kind of took up a stance behind a pillar at the corner of the building, pointed a shotgun at me. I gave him numerous commands to put the weapon down.
Put it down!
At one point on the video, you see him open the breech of the shotgun. I thought he was going to disarm it. Ended up happening. He was going to make sure it was loaded.
Put the
I
gun
originally
down, man.
engaged him from the door panel of my car. I was standing outside the door frame. When I realized he had the shotgun, I made my way to the back of the car to cover behind the trunk. There's really nowhere for me to go because once you pull off the loop, you're just in the parking lot.
Conroe crime scene detectives discovered that James Kelemen was 17 to 21 yards away from the shooter when he arrived in the bakery. Sergeant James Kelemen carries a USP 45mm pistol on his hip, and he says he's 100% accurate at the distance he was at.
The problem was, from my angle, every round that I shot and missed him with was going to go into that store. I could hear the sirens in the background. I knew backup was coming, but I never knew that they were behind me at the time that he actually shot me.
Put the gun down, buddy!
After Sergeant Kelemen was shot, the other officers on location began to fire their weapons. In the video, it looks like the shooter is going to come after and finish Sergeant Kelemen, so a fellow officer risks his own life to cover Sergeant Kelemen until the shooter is dead. The officer that took the kill shot was actually in the fire department next to the bakery. That was the best location for him to be shooting, since he was shooting across the parking lot into some empty woods. So after you got shot, you called your wife, and did you think you were going to make it?
With the amount of blood that I was losing, I didn't know if I was going to make it, so I wanted to make sure that she at least knew, hey, this is what happened. I love you. Tell the kids I love them. So within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, max, she was on scene. So I could imagine what she saw, me covered in blood, back in an ambulance with a headshot.
After the shooter was taken care of and the paramedics had a chance to look at Sergeant Kelemen, Montgomery County Hospital District requested life flight to take Sergeant Kelemen to Memorial Hermann in Houston. After the swelling went down in the eye, Sergeant Kelemen went into surgery to remove the eye and some of the pellets. Sergeant Kelemen joked about being on a helicopter and not being able to look out the window. After Sergeant Kelemen's eye was removed, he was then fitted with a ceramic lens.
That was a big issue when I was in the back of the ambulance. I remember telling one of the other lieutenants was there, saying that, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? Because all I've ever done is law enforcement. The only difference is depth perception is off, but it's only off up to 6 to 10 feet. And talking to the doctors, they had no restrictions for me. So the police department was good enough, and the city administration, to allow me to come back to work as long as I could function and do the things I did before.
After being shot, Sergeant Kelemen didn't know what else to do, since he's been an officer since he was 21. When you got shot, did you have a lot of support from the people in the community?
And not only the local community, but across the nation. A bunch of officers that had either been shot in the line of duty and had returned to work. They wanted to give me hope that I would come back as well. Retired law enforcement, just citizens across the country. When I got back, they handed me a stack of mail that was like this, with just letters from all over the place, wishing me well, thanks for not shooting the guy off the bat.